What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the Belgian Grand Prix, round number 12 of the season, and my favourite track on the calendar. I'm hoping to have a good race weekend here as I want to try and get myself back on track after a poor race last time out. And if you did miss it, then I do urge you to go click the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screen, and do check that last episode out if you did miss it by chance. But just so you know guys, I'm now back in Spain, and I had a little week in the UK. That's why there's been a few missing uploads here and there, but we are back on the videos, and hopefully you're going to try and go strong here, try and push towards getting Season 6 finished, and see where it takes us. At the moment though, after the last race, our championship hopes have taken a big hit, so we need to try and bounce back here this weekend, and straight away you can see into the practice programs here are pretty okay, nothing spectacular, some of them in the dry, some of them in the wet, but we've got a few green ones in there, but overall not too bad, and we've got a few resource points under our belt. And also, after practice, we did switch over to a brand new power unit for this race, which we're going to use for Spa and Monza. So, with that in mind, we're going to try and use basically all our fresh power, new power, to put that to good use here in Saturday qualifying at Spa. So let's see how this pans out. And straight away in Q1, opting for the slower super soft tyres here on my first lap. And to be fair, the tyres are good enough, and the car was fast enough to put in a pretty comprehensible lap. And I was quite confident with how the car felt. And overall, I like my chances, to be fair. And as you can see, I come out the final corner, open up the DRS, across the line. We are going to go P6, just inside a second from Sebastian Vettel. So not too bad there to say we were on our super soft. However, I did notice Ferrari and Force India were very quick around here. So I was concerned they might pull something out of the bag. So with that in mind, obviously, I'm realising maybe 5th is probably the best I can do. So I'm going to need like a perfect lap to really make this one work. So in Q2, you can see we've opted now for the faster ultra softs. We're going to start the race on this tyre because there is rain expected again tomorrow in the race, which is something that doesn't seem to leave us this season. But as you can see towards the end of the lap, a little bit of traffic in the form of Felipe Massa here, but still not too shabby. And we're going to set a pretty good lap time there to go fastest at the time. However, we would eventually drop down a little bit down the order and finish P4 in Q2 there. But if you look now, as you can see where Massa is, a pretty close midfield there, and anyone really can shuffle positions there, so it's all to play for in Q3. And this is where the gamble came in, because Q3 was a very wet session. It was intermediates, and I left it right until the very last second, and I manually drove out onto the track on the dry tyres because I took a gamble basically. And I thought, you know what, my car doesn't really work good in the wet anyway, so I might as well risk and try and get something better than 10th place anyway. So we're going to risk it and roll the dice on the dry tyres, and so far it's going okay for us. So far turn 1 was fine. We are pretty much flat out for a Rouge, a small little lift just for safety precaution, and now we're going flat out onto the Kemmel Straight. No DRS, but now it gets enabled, so that's normally the telltale sign that the track is getting dry, so that's a good sign for us. And we're fastest in the first sector here by about half a second. So now it's just a question of trying to feed the car through this middle sector. It's very tricky with these tyres. You've got to be very, very careful to make sure not to lose the back end at all. And as we now go downhill into turn 8, the car's going to go very wide here, so we've got to have a lot of patience and wait for the front end to come back into the corner here, and then we're going to try and feed it through turn 9. I get on the curb too much on the right hand side. I missed my apex completely there. Possible little mistake, you could say, as we make our way down the hill into Pouhon now. And this one's also very tricky. Got to try and throw the car in there, but also it's a calculated risk without going too wide. Otherwise, your lap time is going to go straight down the drain. So now braking into the Fagner chicane, sort of letting the car just sort of flow in there and letting it roll into the corner. Not really trying to force it too much as we get a nice run through there. Nice bit of traction as we now go into Stavlo number 1 in 4th gear. Running a little bit deep there onto the curb, and I get onto the curbing and lose the back end a little bit there, and that's going to upset my line through this corner. So the first real major mistake in these conditions, but so far we're still looking okay. We're about 4/10 shy, I believe, of Raikkonen, so we're still okay to get a good lap here as we go flat out through Blanchimont. We're going to try and gain all our time under the heavy braking at the bus stop chicane here, and can we make it work? And let's see if we can get anywhere near first place, and has the gamble paid off? The track is getting dry, but the question is, have we done enough, or has that mistake cost us? Here we go across the line. It's going to be very close to Raikkonen, but I think we've just missed out, and it's going to be second place. And yes, it is a second place. So unfortunately, that mistake across the second sector just costing me a pole position there on the curb. So real shame there. Only by a 10th we just missed out, but still not too bad. I'm pretty happy with P2. I mean, look where Massa finished, and I probably would have most likely been where he was, there or thereabouts. So the gamble was worth it. We got a front row of the grid, and hopefully we can try and convert that into a better race result tomorrow on Sunday. But overall, a very, very positive Saturday qualifying session. But we're now going to move into Sunday for the race. Right, here we are then for race day for the Belgian Grand Prix, and good news, after qualifying we've been promoted to first place on the grid and pole position after, I believe, the person in front of me got a penalty. So we're going to start from the very front of the grid here at Spa, and in the end the qualifying gamble, you could say, paid off. So that's very good news for us, and that's going to mean we're going to have the best chance of trying to hold on to our first place into the first corner and avoiding, the first turn incidents. But in terms of this race, it's not going to be so straightforward because there is rain expected, and we are starting on the ultra softs. Now, if we keep that in mind for our strategy, it's going to make it very interesting because, as you can see on screen, we're only meant to go 3 laps on these ultras before they go and fade away, which is a very short tyre life, to be honest. And then we're going to switch over to the softs and basically wait until the rain arrives. I am tempted to go super softs, but I don't want to get caught out in case the rain comes too early, so we're just going to run the softs and play it safe, and hopefully it's the best option for us. In terms of fuel for today, we're running it bang on the 22 lap mark because we don't need to rerun any more or any less because of the rain that's coming in later on. So overall, we're now going to just jump into the race, and hopefully we can try and convert this first place into a positive result at the end of the race. Realistically, Ferrari and especially Force India look really strong around here, so if I can bag a podium, then I'd be happy. But also we've got to keep in mind the rain later on isn't going to really suit my car. So realistically, if I can get a podium, I'd be happy. Even if I got top 5, I wouldn't complain too much. But let's see how this race goes, and let's jump straight into the Belgian Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. We're going to get ready to the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go at Spa. It's a good start off the line from us. We're going to cover off the inside and sort of bring our nose back to the inside of the track a little bit, lock up on the right front, feed the car through the first corner, and so far it's a very good start to the race as we hold on to our race lead. And now we're going to make our way down to Eau Rouge, and I'm straight away I can tell you I'm confident in our straight line speed because it's pretty damn high. So Vettel was going to need DRS to try and pass me, because without DRS there is no chance of him overtaking me. And now Verstappen is having a go at the Ferrari here, and if Verstappen get in front of Vettel, that's great news for me as they're going 3 wide behind me. So this is going to give me a chance to try and break away. We've got to see what the race pace is like here with all this extra fuel on board, but it looks like Vettel has dropped back, and Verstappen's going to be my rear gunner here in second place in the Red Bull, which is good news. So let's try and use this as an opportunity to try and break away from the pack a little bit and try and dictate the early pace of this race while we've got Verstappen behind us, which is going to be a good thing for us. Oh, virtual safety car deployed. Marcus Ericsson out of the race. Now, I have been offered a strategy change to go into the super soft, so I'm going to trust my team here, and that's what I'm going to go for when I come in next lap, because obviously they know something I don't, so we're just going to take their word for it and basically follow them. So we've got to keep that in mind, but I think the rain is definitely going to be about 10 minutes away. I'm expecting to come around lap 10, that's sort of my guess, maybe lap 9, something around that sort of region. So with that in mind, we've got to try and make the tyres last. Okay, Felipe has problems with his car, so he's going to start dropping back a little bit. Right now it's like a 4-car breakaway with myself, Verstappen, Hamilton, and I believe Sebastian Vettel. So let's see how this pans out. To be fair, my tyre isn't that bad. I don't think it's worth me coming in this lap unless the guys behind do, which is going to be interesting to see how it pans out, because I reckon I can maybe strap on another ultra soft here and try and get it to the wet conditions. Okay, well, I'm just going to, I've thought about it on that back strand. I'm just going to follow my team's words here, to be honest. I'm going to follow what they're advising. So we're going to come in for a set of super soft compound tyres here and get off of these ultras. Hopefully it's a nice quick stop. We're pretty good into the pit lane. It's not too shabby. Now the only concern here, Verstappen might pull off the overcut, so we've got to be wary of that. So it's got to be a nice quick stop from the boys here and make sure we come out ahead of Hamilton. It's going to be very close. So 2.4. Are we ahead of Hamilton? Yes, we are. He's been held up by, I think, some other cars. So we're going to rejoin in what is pretty damn clean air here, and we're going to be on these supers again. So let's see if we can get up to speed quickly enough and try and switch these tyres on and try and set the pace. Hamilton goes for softs, interestingly enough. So let's see how this works out. But we've got a bit of a buffer now to Lewis. So let's try and pick up the pace on these and make sure Verstappen doesn't overcut us. Verstappen stays out and he's setting the pace at 46.5. That is a ridiculous lap time, and I can't really match that, to be honest. Right, fast up at the Grand Prix, so we are responding to the pace being set by those around us. Sebastian Vettel just set our fastest lap, and we've responded and gone faster than him, so that is encouraging for us, and we're actually keeping Hamilton behind us at bay, so maybe we have more pace than what I'm giving myself credit for, but let's see how these tyres hold up. The rain is still apparently 5 minutes away, but it's been like that for a long time now, so surely the storm's going to start rolling in pretty soon. But right now, P7 chasing down Fernando Alonso up ahead. Okay, no one's coming in here, so it's interesting strategy. Bottas aside, Everyone is staying out. I've cranked up to rich mix now because I've got a little bit of excess fuel and the rain's about to come any minute apparently, so it could well be this lap. So right now we could come unstuck by those who decide to stay out and go long in the first stint. Sebastian Vettel and Verstappen are still staying out, which is very impressive, especially Verstappen on ultra softs. I think Sebastian is on super softs, but here we go. DRS wide open, next drops in the next few minutes apparently, so let's see how that one pans out. But we're going to fly past Fernando Alonso here and take P5, and it's a purple first sector as a response. But Perez there just in front, also on ultras, staying out, and these guys playing the long game, but their tyres are going to be shattered to pieces once the rain arrives. The rain has started to fall, and I don't know if these guys are going to be able to make their tyres last. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Sebastian Vettel clearly can, but I think he's on super softs, and it looks like they actually are coming into the pit lane here. Those on the ultras can't make their tyres last, and they're having to come in for another set of dry tyres. They try to roll the dice, and it hasn't paid off. It's backfired on them. We set our personal best, but we're going to retake third place here. Ocon and I think Sebastian Vettel stay out, so interesting strategies from those on the dry tyres. I think if it's not intermediate this lap, then I think Ocon's going to come unstuck as well. The question is, will Sebastian Vettel come unstuck in the Ferrari? Okay, we've got cars in the pit lane, and it looks like Sebastian Vettel and Esteban Ocon have come in. So, interesting, because the track is definitely still good enough for the dry tyres. So I wonder, have they not been able to make their tyres last? Ocon's in, and so is Vettel, so I don't think they've made their tyres last. So that means we're going to retake, I think, the net race lead. Yes, we do. They've gone to dry, so we're going to retake the lead just about there. Sebastian, so it's very close. He almost made it work, but we've just about managed to hold on to our race lead. And I think this could be the lap already where we'll be coming for intermediate. So let's see how this lap pans out, but the rain is definitely falling at a pretty intense rate now. Okay, so I think personally it might be time. The grip is just starting to get very thin now, and we've got to be careful on these tyres. So I'm going to come in for the intermediates. It's very much on the knife edge. I might be going a little bit early onto the inters, but I think by the end of the lap it's going to come to me. So I think this is a calculated gamble, and I don't really think it's not going to backfire that badly if it does go wrong. But I think this is the right time, because I feel like at some point during the next lap it's going to be time for the inters. So I'd rather just be on the right tyre at the right time just in case. So 2-second flat stop. There's Alonso, and he's managed to make the nose stop work. He's gone to dryers though, so it's backfired for him. Another guy that's bitten the dust going onto the dry tyres. But here we go. We're going to rejoin the circuit. A lot of screen freezing at the minute, but here we go. Let's see. We're going to rejoin just behind Sergio Perez, who's on dry tyres. That's going to give us an interesting reference point to see how these tyres cope. We're going to go for a route for the first time, and it's pretty much neck and neck, side by side here in terms of obviously overall speed. DRS is still enabled, but I got a feeling, and you got to think any second now it may get disabled. Let's see what this brake zone's like, and let's see who's the braver of the two. It looks like Perez is struggling a bit, and it's pretty much 50-50 here, and I think I've probably not made the bad call, but it's definitely not the right one at the moment. But obviously it's a very long lap around this circuit, so let's see how this pans out. Right, DRS disabled. The question is, because we're right towards the end of the lap, would Sebastian Vettel, for example, have come in, or would he have stayed out? I think everyone's coming in from what I can tell on the mini-map. This is going to be very close, because into this final chicane I've definitely got the advantage, and I can gain a lot of time on the braking here. So this is going to be very close to see where we rejoin and where Sebastian Vettel is. I can see one car getting towards the end. That might be Seb, and I think he's actually managed to make the jump on me here. Let's see how quick we go through turn one. But I think Sebastian has definitely managed to overcut me, which is disappointing. But here we go. There's Hamilton. Can we race him out the pit lane? Yes, we can. We're going to get the power down, and we're just going to get around the outside. So Sebastian Vettel has made it work, and my gamble wasn't really paid off in terms of Seb, but we haven't lost any further places, so I consider that, you know, a loss, but not too bad considering Sebastian was faster than me anyway. So now let's try and survive these conditions, and let's see how we cope. Well, so far it's a bit of a struggle, I'm not going to lie. We're holding P2, we've got Hamilton and Verstappen for company. They're just sort of sitting there, and we've got another car closing in the form of a false India, from what I can see. Vettel's waltzed off into the distance, so the best we can do is P2 at the minute. If we can just hold on to this, we've got about 8 laps to go. So far, these conditions, I wouldn't say the car feels bad, and I wouldn't say I'm struggling, but I am really slow compared to the AI. So in terms of what I can feel, how the car feels, I feel like I'm doing okay. I mean, like, look at this, I'm flat through a rouge, no real major dramas here, but the second sector especially, is I just struggle so much. And the story of our season, really, this car just doesn't like the work conditions, and it's really struggling to work. I'm being told to come in for another set of intermediates, but realistically, the rain is apparently going to dry out in 5 minutes. So, is it really worth me having that risk? I mean, it's not really a risk, it's a safer option, but I'm potentially throwing away a lot of positions and points. So I'm going to stay out for a bit longer here. My tyres are still okay, around 30% wear, so I'm just going to hang out for as long as I can. Okay, the rain has just stopped, so switch over to dryers anytime soon, I think. So let's keep the eye out, and it could well be this lap. Okay, so interestingly enough, I think the track is still a bit damp, so I'm going to stay out for one more. But the AI are coming in, so let's see what happens. I think Seb has only stopped, and he's coming for another set of intermediates. So Vettel on another set of inters, and I think the AI are going to follow him in here. Meanwhile, we're going to stay out for one more on the intermediates because I still don't think the track is really dry enough. But are we going to get ahead of Sebastian? Yes, we are. And that is critical because now, if the track dries out, we're right back in the race-winning position here. So this could be the lap anyway where I come in for dry tyres, I think. So if we could just hold Sebastian behind us, we're back in the money here. Okay, DRS enabled. That is normally the sign for dry tyres. So we're going to come in this lap for the ultra softs and try and respond. Sebastian is probably going to follow me in, so it's going to be a pit stop battle here. So this is going to be very interesting. So let's make sure we make no mistakes. The understeer is absolutely major now. As you can see, my tyre wear is pretty big, but I had to stay out in these tyres to make the strategy work, and that's exactly what's happened. And Vettel doesn't fancy a move just yet, so we're going to try and hold on to this. Flat out through Blanchimont. Now we've got to make sure we don't lock up. It's very easy to lock up in these conditions, so we've got to make sure we don't do that. Into the bus stop. Now through the final chicane into the pit lane. We've got the ultra selected, so here we go. We're going to get it also down to the limiter, and that is absolutely perfect. Nice and safe. No major risks needed. We've got a little bit of a cushion to Vettel there. You can see about 2 car lengths. So hopefully that's enough time that we need to make this pit stop. So I need a nice quick 2-second stop here from the boys. 2.1. It's not too bad. We've managed to join ahead of Sebastian, actually increase our gap a little bit. And Vettel's gone for the super soft. So that's going to give me a little bit of an advantage on my tyre. So that's good news for me. And we got a virtual safety car on cue. So that's going to help us save a little bit of fuel here, which is good news. And I think that might have been for Esteban Ocon, who was having issues. So we're going to catch up to the Delta here, but this is going to allow us to basically let the track dry out a bit, and it's going to help the feeling of these tyres once we get up to full racing speed. But there's still a lot of water on the track. Sebastian definitely got screwed over by the VSC there because he was still coming out the pit lane, so something happened with Sebastian. But either way, I've gained majorly from it, and the track is still very green, so we've got to be careful. There is grip out there, but we just got to take it very easily and very gingerly. We've got the cushion, we've got first place. There's no need to take any risks just yet. Even if Sebastian catches me, no need to panic. Oh, Sebastian's come in. Again. Did he speed under the VSC or something? I don't know what happened there, but he might have got screwed over by the pit exit because of the way the pit lane exit is. I don't know, but Sebastian's back in again, and he's serving a drive-through, I think. So that's Vettel out of contention. We've now got Bottas for company on the same tyre as me, so he's going to be bloody quick. So we've got to keep an eye out for Bottas, but we've got 3 whole laps to go. Vettel out of contention. I think he got a penalty, so we can bring this one home here. We've got a chance of winning this race. Let's do this. Right, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 1 minute 44.6. So good pace. Is Bottas going to respond? No, he doesn't. So we're faster than Valtteri. I think Sebastian, though, is absolutely flying in the Ferrari. He's the fastest man on the track, and he's on super soft. So there you go, 44 dead. Sebastian absolutely flying, but he's out of contention, and we're on the last lap here. So let's try and bring this one home. Here we go, then into the final chicane for the final time on the last lap. And it looks like the King of Spa is going to stand tall once again, my favourite track. And we're going to win it once again here at this circuit. And it's another 25 points for us and a race victory, which was definitely not expected whatsoever going into this race weekend. I know we got the sort of car that's built for this track, but I genuinely thought Ferrari and Force India were in a league of their own. And we definitely, we relied on the miracle, the qualifying gamble in Q3 and then the strategy gamble today with the pit stop at the start of the race and also staying out in the intermediates. All the sort of different chances we took this race, they all paid off eventually, and we stand tall at Spa, and it's a well-deserved 25 points for us, and that is a big, big result for us to get us back in the championship, especially because Vettel finished third and Raikkonen was nowhere to be seen. So overall, the champagne spread, but we're now going to look at the final race results, drivers and constructors standing to see how exactly everything shapes up after that absolutely crazy Belgian Grand Prix. Right, so looking at the final race results, we win the Belgian Grand Prix ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel rounding up the podium. Max Verstappen leads Lewis Hamilton to P4 with Sergio Perez beating Kimi Raikkonen there for P6, and Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn scored double points for McLaren in 8th and 10th, with Ricciardo splitting the McLarens. And if we look further down the order, quite a few retirements here today, with 3 retirements, and Ocon 1 lap down after having car trouble, and also my teammate Felipe Massa also having car trouble, only managing P15. But in terms of the driver standings, you can see Vettel takes the lead in the championship, and we're 32 points adrift from the 2 Ferraris as we now go into their home race the next time round at Monza. And Massa really struggling there, P11, only 22 points this season compared to my 152, so definitely doing the heavy work for Williams here. But in terms of the constructors, we hold P4 quite comfortably there. Red Bull trying to catch us, but so far no result for them. But Ferrari really leading the way and dominating both of the championships, especially the constructors. But other than that, we're now going to move into the laptop. Right, so straight away, good news in the car competency. We have pretty much maxed out the pit stop efficiency, so the pit stops are going to be as fast as they can possibly be, which is good news. And we have about 1,400 points to spend, so if we delve into the R&D chart and we look where we're going to spend these, obviously I could go aero, I could go engine, but I think realistically, I think it's about time we did a chassis upgrade, to be honest. And we've got one minor one left, so I think we're just going to go for that one, to be honest. I mean, look at where we are on the chassis. We are way lower down the order where we should be, so we really need to try and step up in this department and try and improve. I mean, I could go for the fuel tank, positioning, but I think I want to go for the cheap upgrade for now and build towards something major. I mean, that one's tempting, the tyre wear, but I mean, considering how much we have left in the season now, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll tell you what I'll do. I think I want to go for one of these. I'm going to go for the fuel tank positioning, and we're going to get that one for Singapore, and hopefully that will help us out in terms of our overall performance and jump us back up to the full force team in the chassis department, and that's going to give us a nice little push towards Red Bull as well. You can see in the bottom right there, so we're starting to make strides, and the pack is just starting to even out with that Force India upgrade which they brought today. As you can see here, the pack has sort of just evened out a bit more now, and if I can just bring my upgrade, then we're going to sort of bridge the gap between Red Bull and Renault, and hopefully we can get some more upgrades very soon. But other than that, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash 200 likes for this episode. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for plenty more F1 content coming your way very soon. And also please be sure to check out these videos on screen if you have missed them by chance. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.